Welcome to Brainpower Academy, where we explore the mysteries of the mind and uncover the tools to live a more empowered, intentional life. I'm Joe, and today we're diving into a question that has probably crossed your mind at some point. Why can't I stop thinking about this one person? It's such a relatable experience, right? Whether it's an ex, a close friend, or even someone who's no longer in your life, their presence in your mind feels overwhelming. It can be frustrating, emotional, and at times downright confusing. Why does this happen? And more importantly, what can we do about it? Why is this person always on your mind? Let me start by asking you a question. Who is that person for you? Is it someone you've loved deeply? Someone you've had unresolved feelings for? Or maybe even someone who hurt you? Why do they keep showing up in your thoughts over and over again? Today, we're unpacking the science, psychology, and emotional dynamics behind this phenomenon. And by the end of this video, you'll have actionable strategies to understand and take control of your thoughts. Let's jump in. The brain's reward system, the dopamine connection. First, let's talk about the science. Have you ever heard of the brain's reward system? It's the part of your brain responsible for making you feel good when you experience something pleasurable, like eating your favorite dessert, getting a compliment, or even thinking about someone you love. This feel-good sensation is powered by a chemical called dopamine. When you think about someone who makes you happy, or even someone you're deeply connected to, your brain releases dopamine, reinforcing the association between that person and pleasure. It's fascinating, isn't it? Dr. Helen Fisher, a renowned biological anthropologist and author of Why We Love, discovered that romantic love activates the same brain regions as a drug addiction. This is why thinking about someone can feel so consuming. It's literally addictive. Your brain essentially says, hey, thinking about this person makes me feel good, so let's keep doing it. But here's the kicker. It doesn't just happen when the relationship is positive. Even painful or unresolved relationships can trigger the same chemical response. Emotional triggers and attachment. But there's more to this story than just chemicals. Psychology plays a massive role too. Often, when you're fixated on someone, it's because they've triggered deep emotions or unresolved feelings. Maybe they made you feel loved, validated, or even rejected. Our attachment systems are incredibly powerful. Psychologist John Bowlby, known for his attachment theory, explained that our early relationships shape how we connect with others. If someone fulfills or even disrupts our need for connection, our brain locks onto them like a magnet. Here's an example. Let's say you've had a breakup, and you can't stop thinking about your ex. Is it really about them? Or is it about the emotional void they've left behind? Sometimes it's not the person we're missing, but the way they made us feel, secure, desired, or understood. The role of habits and rumination. Now, let's talk about habits. Have you ever caught yourself checking someone's social media or replaying conversations in your head? These behaviors might seem small, but they actually reinforce a loop called rumination. It's like your mind is stuck on repeat. Rumination is when we dwell on the same thoughts over and over, often without resolution. And the more we ruminate, the more we strengthen those neural pathways in our brain, making it even harder to let go. Breaking this loop requires conscious effort, which we'll discuss later in this video. But for now, let's shift gears and talk about why this fixation might not always be a bad thing. Believe it or not, thinking about someone can sometimes be a source of motivation. For example, Steve Jobs once said that his first love deeply inspired him, fueling his creativity and drive. When you're fixated on someone, ask yourself, what does this person represent to me? Is it love, success, or a version of myself that I want to reconnect with? By reframing your thoughts, you can turn fixation into fuel for growth. Real-life story, turning obsession into growth. Let me share a story with you. Meet John. After being ghosted by someone he really cared about, he found himself stuck in an endless loop of thoughts. Instead of letting it consume him, John decided to channel his energy into running. He started training for marathons and found a new sense of purpose. In the process, John realized it wasn't the person he was stuck on. It was the feeling of being valued. Running gave him that feeling, and it helped him move on. Science-backed tips to break the cycle. So, how do you break the cycle when thinking about someone becomes overwhelming? Here are a few science-backed strategies. Practice mindfulness. Studies show that mindfulness meditation helps reduce rumination by grounding you in the present. Spend 5 minutes a day focusing on your breath and notice how your thoughts start to shift. Engage in new activities. Your brain thrives on novelty. Whether it's learning a new skill, traveling, or even volunteering, new experiences can help redirect your focus. Set boundaries. If you're stuck on someone who's still in your life, create boundaries to reduce emotional triggers. This might mean unfollowing them on social media or limiting contact. Write it out. Journaling is a powerful tool for processing emotions. Write down your thoughts and then challenge yourself to reframe them. What can you learn from this experience? Reflecting on your experience. So here's your challenge. Take a moment to reflect. Who's the person you're stuck on and why? What emotions or needs are tied to them? And how can you channel this energy into something that helps you grow? You might be surprised at how much clarity you gain just by asking these questions. The deeper meaning of fixation. Before we wrap up, let's take this a step further. If you find yourself unable to stop thinking about someone, it might not just be about them, it could also be about you. What does this person represent in your life? Sometimes our thoughts about others reflect our own unmet needs or deeper desires. For example, are you craving connection? Maybe this person represents a time when you felt deeply understood, and your mind keeps circling back to them because you're longing for that feeling again. Or perhaps it's about closure. Unresolved endings can leave emotional loops open in our minds, making it hard to move forward. The role of self-reflection. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine your life 5 years from now. Do you still want this person to occupy so much space in your mind? Or would you rather use that energy to grow, learn, and create? The truth is, you have the power to take control of your thoughts. Ask yourself, what do I need to heal? What part of myself am I ignoring by focusing so much on this person? Shifting the focus to yourself can be incredibly liberating. It turns the narrative from, why can't I stop thinking about them, to, what can I learn about myself through this? Here's an exercise you can try. Close your eyes and visualize the person you can't stop thinking about. Now imagine yourself gently placing their image in a box. Close the lid and imagine sending it away, on a river, into the sky, wherever feels right. This isn't about forgetting them. It's about reclaiming your mental space. Every time you catch yourself stuck in thoughts about them, repeat this visualization. It's a simple but effective way to remind your brain that you are in control. Empower yourself to move forward. Finally, remember this. Thoughts are just thoughts. They don't define you, and they don't have to control you. By understanding the science, reflecting on your emotions, and taking conscious steps to redirect your focus, you can free yourself from the cycle. So the next time you find yourself thinking about someone nonstop, pause and ask, what is my mind trying to tell me, and how can I use this moment to grow? Thank you for joining me today on Brainpower Academy. If this video gave you clarity, inspiration, or just a new perspective, don't forget to subscribe and join our growing community. You're not alone in this journey, and together, we're unlocking the power of the mind, one thought at a time. See you in the next video.